Hey everyone, Robot here. Sorry I haven't been able to upload videos lately. I've been busy with work and other IRL stuff. The work stuff has been kind of stressful, so it's kind of taken a lot of my time. But we are back, and today in this video we'll go over all you need to know on how to play the Midwich Elementary School map effectively and efficiently as Survivor. We'll cover how to find your way around the map, how to find gens easily, how to find the exit gates, and the strongest tiles to loop. Let's get started. This video is part of the indoor maps guides that I'm putting together. So far I've made guides for Leary's, Hawkins, and the Forgotten Ruins maps. In case you're interested in any of those, you can click on the card on the top right corner of your screen for the playlist to these guides. I have created timestamps that will cover the main topics for this video. So if you're interested in something specific, you can skip to that part if you'd like. First, let's cover how to find your way around the map. The Midwich Elementary School is a two-story structure. Well, technically almost three, because there's a section of stairs that takes you nowhere, I guess, when you try to go to the third floor. But we'll talk about that when we get to that point. I have created a layout with clock callouts and landmarks to make it easier to understand, since the spawns are very consistent. We'll divide the tiles that make up the map in squared and rectangular shapes, with some of the rectangular rooms being longer than others. Let's cover the first floor first, and let's start with the exit gate at 12 using clock callouts. You can recognize this is 12 because it's the exit gate that has a room right above it, and there is a hole where people can fall from the second to the first floor. This exit gate tile variation will always spawn here. Let's continue counterclockwise to 11, where we have the storage room. This room will always spawn on 11. You can recognize this room because it has stacked mattresses and boxes on the floor. Continuing counterclockwise, we get to the first set of stairs. We'll skip going upstairs for now and continue to 10, where we find our first rectangular room. The rectangular rooms on either side of the map on the first or the second floor can either be student classrooms or staff lounges or rooms. And the different variations of these rooms are interchangeable, meaning each map spawn may have any of the tile variations that the devs have created for any of these tiles. In this variation, it spawned a staff room with some desks and couches. The next room over would be 9, and in this map variation, it's a classroom. It doesn't really make a difference whether it's a staff room or a classroom, it just helps distinguish the different tile variations. The next tile is the bathrooms, or 8 by clock callouts. Here we have two little hallways that connect at the back. There's also a hole on the wall that allows us to go upstairs. We still have things to look at downstairs, so we'll skip going upstairs again. Next we have 7, which will always spawn a reception. This is easily recognizable by the window next to a breakable wall. Next to the reception, we'll always have the second exit gate at 6 using clock callouts. This exit gate is recognizable because it doesn't have a room right above it, and there are cages with bodies hanging from the ceiling. Next we have the infirmary on 5 with some beds and a pallet next to a hole in the wall. Then we have another set of stairs. We can either get to the second floor upstairs, or sometimes basement spawns here, so we could go down there if that were the case. You can see on this map variation there's a funny looking wall, like it has been patched, and that's how you can tell basement can spawn here as well. Basement actually spawned next to 11 in this map variation, which I didn't point out, but let me quickly bring that back. Here it is. Anyways, we'll skip going upstairs again to finish our tour of the first floor. We make our way to another rectangular tile at 4 using clock callouts, and in this variation we have a classroom with some chairs, tables, and desks. Sometimes a window spawns here and connects to the next room, which is another rectangular room, or 3 by clock callouts. In this variation the window isn't here, so we'll see it at another set of rectangular rooms. The room at 3 in this case is yet another classroom. And finally we get to another rectangular room that covers 1 and 2 in clock callouts, and we'll call this the hall. This will always also spawn here with 2 pallets and some tables and chairs. Easily recognizable also because we have part of the second floor collapse into this room, which allows us to go upstairs. And since we've covered all the tiles on the first floor, with the exception of the courtyard, which we'll talk about later, we can finally go upstairs. The first tile we'll explore on the second floor is the library, or 2 using clock callouts. Easily recognizable for the collapsed floor and also some bookshelves. This will always spawn here as well with the exact same configuration. The library connects to another room, which is the library reserve, or 1 using clock callouts. This room also has bookshelves with a pallet in the middle. This is a square-shaped room and will always spawn in the same location with the same setup. As we move into the hallway, we make our way to 12, also known as the chemistry lab or chemistry room. This room is rectangular and will always spawn here as well. The room is easily recognizable because of the table setup and the periodic table on the wall, plus a hole on the floor to drop to the exit gate on the first floor. As we continue our way down the hallway, we see another room, and this time it's just a few lockers with a pallet in the middle. We call this the equipment room, or 11 using clock callouts. This room will always spawn here just as you see it on the screen. Exiting this room, we see more stairs that lead downstairs or upstairs. We've seen downstairs already, so we'll skip that, but going upstairs we get to the third floor I mentioned earlier. But as you can see, it's just a dead end. Continuing our tour of the second floor, we find another rectangular room, or 10 using clock callouts. And this time we have another classroom. In this variation, we also have a window that connects to another rectangular room, or 9 by clock callouts, which is yet another classroom. Then we have another bathroom at 8 using clock callouts, but the 2 hallways on the back of this one do not connect. We do have a hole on the ground that lets us drop to the bathroom on the first floor. On the other side of the wall, we have another hallway with a doorway at the back and a hole on the ground that both lead to the first floor. But we still have things to look at upstairs, so let's make our way into the next tile, which is 7 using clock callouts. Here we find the music room, easily identifiable because we have a piano here. This tile will always spawn here as well. Next to the music room, we have an empty tile that lets us see the exit gate located downstairs at 6 using clock callouts. Continuing down the hallway, we get to what we can call the locker room, or 5 using clock callouts. This room will always spawn here as well. One thing I want to point out about this room is that there is a body that jumps out of a locker if you walk by it. So if you're trying to stay hidden from the killer, the body will make noise, and if the killer is nearby, they'll be able to hear it. So just keep that in mind. Next we have another set of stairs next to a rectangular room, or 4 using clock callouts. This room connects to another rectangular room, or 3 by clock callouts, via our handy window. And in this case, both are classrooms. And that is it for all the tiles upstairs. Not too complex, right? Especially because, as mentioned, all the tiles are consistent, with the only variations being the rectangular rooms, which can be classrooms or staff rooms, with a few variations. But all the other rooms and exit gates will always spawn on the same location. I didn't mention this, of course, and you may have noticed, all these tiles are connected via the long hallways that may have some lockers or pallets throughout. Now let's make our way to the courtyard. You can access it by dropping from the second floor at 12 or by using the doorways at 6 and 12 on the first floor. The courtyard is the only outdoor section in this map, and it's fairly small. It will always spawn 3 tiles on 3 of its corners that may have windows or pallets, or nothing for that matter. And will also always have the clock tower on the corner to the right of the 6 o'clock doorway. And that is everything when it comes to the map layout. Now let's talk about how to find gens. Honestly, the location where gens spawn on this map will vary a lot. Sometimes it can be difficult to find gens, but I will give you some guidance and places to check first. Good places to check for gens right at the start of the trial are the chemistry room, the music room, right in the middle of the courtyard or in one of the courtyard tiles, the locker room upstairs, the infirmary, library, and the hall right below library. A gen may even spawn inside the reception. Not super common, I haven't seen this happen very often, but it's good to know they spawn there as well. If you go to either of these locations and you can't find a gen, check the surrounding hallway or rooms. Here's a quick example of tracking down gens. Alright, so that brings us to the exit gates. Now we kinda already covered this when I talked about the map layout, but in case you skipped or missed it, the exit gates will always spawn in the same spot, using clock callouts that is 12 and 6 on the first floor. I just kept this section here as find the exit gates in the video because that's the format I follow for the other map guides that I've created. So here it is. And lastly, we'll talk about the strongest tiles to loop. Well, really all the loops in general, but we'll cover the strongest tiles first. First, let's cover the GAD pallets, everyone's favorite. You'll find these at the following locations, all on the first floor. Number 1, the pallet on the hallway next to 11 on the first floor. This is by far the best pallet in the map, in my opinion. Number 2, you have another one at the infirmary on the first floor, or 5 using clock callouts. This is another great pallet. Number 3, we have 2 GAD pallets at the clock tower. Now, you could get zoned or mind gamed here, so just play them wisely. If you drop one, you might as well just drop the other one and force the killer to break at least one of them. And when that happens, that can give you enough time to reach another tile. Number 4, another pallet where you could get mind game, but it's also very useful to make the killer waste time, is in the bathroom on the first floor, or 8 using clock callouts. You can also get you zone if the killer breaks it from the hallway side. Ideally, or the best use of it would be to get the killer to commit from this opposite side of the hallway, so you can run into the hallway to find another tile. But even if the killer breaks it and you get zone while the killer breaks the pallet, you could run to the back, make your way to the other little hallway in the bathroom, go through the hole on the wall and make your way upstairs to maybe find another tile. Now, a lot of times it's not enough time for you to get there, but it's the best thing you can try. And that covers it for GAD pallets or very good pallets. Next, let's cover tiles that are decent. I'm saying decent on purpose because the majority of the tiles in Midwich are not great. But the key is to try to chain them as much as you can, which is why I think it's important for you to learn the layout of the map so that you know where you are at any given time and you can change some of the weak tiles with the strong ones. Let's start with the first floor. Number 1, there are 2 tiles in the hall, or 1 using clock callouts with a pallet in the middle of 2 tables. Here and here. It's good to run around these tables a few times, but once you drop the pallet, you'll have to either mind game or win 50-50s. Number 2, a similar tile is the storage room or 11 by clock callouts. You have good vision of the killer, same as in the hall, so it's easier to react if the killer changes direction chasing you. Same as with most tiles in Midwich, once you drop it, it's 50-50s. Number 3. A good way to take advantage of the rectangular rooms is to chain them. The strongest variation is when you have a window in between the two rooms and both rooms have pallets. That doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, you can try to run between the two to waste the killer's time and use the pallets as needed. The structures around the pallets aren't great and they are very mind gameable. So just do the best you can. Keep in mind, sometimes the window connects to a classroom with just desks, without a pallet or nothing else for you to loop. So you might be out of luck if that happens. And if that's the case, then maybe just playing the window as much as you can is the best way to go. And I forgot to mention, the window connecting the two rectangular rooms can either spawn on the first or the second floor. Now let's cover the second floor. Number 1, the chemistry room on the second floor, or 12 using clock callouts, also has a decent tile with a pallet between two tables. But you can only run around it so many times before you need to drop it. Ideally, if the killer chases you clockwise, you could drop it and then run away from the room and find another tile to loop. Or if you can, connect it to the room next door, the lab equipment room, and you could use that pallet that spawns there as a filler pallet. And drop it and just continue running, or just continue running altogether, because the killer might just go around the locker. Number 2, the library on the second floor, or 2 using clock callouts, is a decent tile as well. There's a pallet between two tables, and you also have the collapsed floor that goes into the hall downstairs. You can even connect these two tiles if you play it right. Also in the library, there's a pallet between two bookshelves. Here you kinda play 50-50 since you can't see the killer, but you can use this as a filler pallet and just run through it. It's a risk, of course, but it might work to waste the killer's time. Number 3, the music room on the second floor is also a tile that you could run. It has the piano and a table with a pallet in the middle. The nice thing is that you can see the killer over the piano and the table, so you can run around it a few times. Play for the stun if you can, and if you drop the pallet and the killer decides to break it, make a run for it and try to find another tile. Number 4, the locker room on the second floor also has a pallet between two lockers. You can't easily see the killer over them because they're kind of tall structures, so if the killer is tall, maybe you can see them, but it's a bit tricky. So the same thing, if you drop it and the killer breaks it, try to make a run for it and make it out of the room. If you'd like to learn how to play other indoor maps or other tips on how to play Survivor, you can click on the thumbnails on the left hand side of your screen. If you'd like to be notified when I upload my next video, you can subscribe to the channel. I hope this is useful, and thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.